Day 4 of the 2023 IFCPF Asia Oceania Championships from the home of the Matildas in Bundoora, and Australia are back. The CommBank ParaMatildas set to keep their winning ways rolling on, and they will face Japan as they did on the opening Saturday of the tournament. They won that game by 3-0, and the same result would be surely welcome for those in the green and gold camp on a public holiday here in Victoria. Can the ParaMatildas keep up that goodwill with plenty of friends and family in attendance? It's all set up for the green and gold, but it won't be easy for them as the substitutes make their way over to the bench. Japan have come off a win against Nepal. They started their campaign with the aforementioned loss to Australia by 3-0. Yesterday, it was a one-sided game, a 15-1 win over Nepal. Of course, the Nepalese scenes after they scored their only goal of the game were brilliant to watch, as were the scenes following the goal from Masami Ryochi, which was the 15th, scored by Japan's goalkeeper. Today, can they replicate some of those scenes against the ParaMatildas, who remain the #1 team in the Women's World Rankings in the IFCPF side of things? And the home crowd will be hoping for a result for the Australians on what is a very, very warm day here in Bundoora. At the moment, we're at 28 degrees and we're set to reach a high of 30 here just outside of Melbourne. So conditions may well play into this one. They've just ticked up to 29, in fact, so it's not the coolest day out there. As we get ready for the teams to make their way out onto the main pitch at the home of the Matildas. Day 4, I'm already halfway through this tournament, and it's absolutely crazy that we're halfway through. We've had 3 days of wonderful football that has gone, and we've got a fair few more set to follow, and if they're up to the standards that the first few days have been, then we're going to have a wonderful next few days as the teams now will make their way out.
Officials and the teams, the CommBank
ParaMatildas led out by Carly Salmon and Mayota leading out Japan. Big day this for the ParaMatildas. It always is when they play here. Of course, this is only their 3rd game on home soil in their history. And you'd think with the support that they've garnered over the previous 2, there'll be plenty more to come in the not too distant future. We'll head down to the main pitch now for the national anthems of Japan and Australia.
If you are able, please be upstanding for the national anthem of Japan. If you are able, please remain upstanding for the national anthem of Australia.
Wonderful applause as always following the Australian national anthem as the pleasantries draw towards a close. We'll take a look at the teams, and Japan's starting five mirrors the one from Saturday. They've made a couple of changes from the win over Nepal. In goal will be once again number 3 Miyabi Hamada, number 2 is Mei Ota, number 4 Saki Hiroki, number 5 is Mayuko Kaiga, and number 6 is Ayumi Takamura. Takamura and Ota coming in for Rie Ishihara and Masami Ryochi, who dropped to the bench. And for Australia, they themselves make 2 changes from their game against Nepal. So Kali Salmon will again be in goal. Talia Blanchard, number 3, comes in. Also number 4, Karina Gregorian. Number 7, Eloise Northam will both play, with Georgia Bykov coming back in after scoring a brace against Japan on match day 1. She will wear number 10, the Australian substitutes. Number 2, Nicole Christodoulou, who scored 5 the other day against Nepal. Number 5, Tamsin Collier had a hat-trick on her ParaMatildas debut. Number 6 is Caitlin Smith. Number 8, Anne-Marie Duriarty. And number 9 is Ray Anderson. ParaMatildas maintaining a 4-win streak over Japan. They've played them 4 times, including at last year's World Cup. The 4th clash was, of course, that 3-0 win, a double for Georgia Bykov, including one inside the opening minute, and also one to Anne-Marie Duriarty. As Mei Ota and Carly Salmon shake hands as we move towards the start of this one to kick off day 4. This is the only game on today from the home of the Matildas. Of course, with the Melbourne Cup set to take place later today, but there's only one cup that the ParaMatildas and the Japanese side have their eyes on, and that is the Asia Oceania Championships trophy that both will be looking to hoist aloft after the final on Saturday. The referee for today's clash is Sky Arthur Banning. As the Matildas, the ParaMatildas down away to our left. The Matildas of the IFCPF game are in a huddle just before kickoff, looking to try and keep up this winning run. Talia Blanchard making their way back into the team alongside Georgia Bykov. Have a watch if you've not seen CP football before of Australia's number 10, because she's wonderful in front of goal. Now 19 goals in 9 caps after not featuring at all against Nepal. She scored twice last time she faced Japan, and we're away here from the home of the Matildas. Japan kicking us off with Ayumi Takamura. Now, Talia Blanchard making their way forward. Ball on the Australian left! And Georgia Bykov has done it again! Inside 15 seconds this time. She's outdone herself, the Australian number 10. A remarkable start for Australia, and this is what Georgia Bykov does best. Goes all the way back to Japan's goalkeeper. What a lightning quick start from Australia. Georgia Bykov with goal number 20 while representing Australia. And the former Paralympian scores yet again. The ball is allowed to bounce. Blanchard getting their head to it. Bykov running it out of play. Once again, a reminder that we're using the blue lines across the women's side of these championships. 2 25-minute halves will be played. Northam looking to try and clear. Good work by Takamura, who stole in. Salmon eventually helping the ball clear. a bit of a scramble from an Australian point of view, but for the moment they were able to get it into touch, still not all the way out from danger. Blanchard helps it away. Long shot from range from Ota, who answers back with a blinder. An absolute gem from Mei Ota, who scored the only goal for Japan in the triple header against Australia back in September, and has scored an absolute belter there to draw Japan level. And the only goal Japan scored in that triple header was in an 8-1 loss. Already, parity restored inside 2.5 minutes here in Bandura. Bykov looking to have something to say about it, but Ota can move away again. Again, looking to try and test Carly Salmon. She was up to that one there. Gregorian back with Blanchard. Australia's number 3 and 4 combining here. Blanchard again looking for Karina Gregorian, the player from New South Wales, unable to run it down. She made her debut as part of that triple header, did Karina Gregorian, in September in Osaka. They played on back-to-back-to-back days, did the ParaMatildas, the 2nd, 3rd and 4th of September, all the same venue. So they will know this Japan side pretty well, as Bykov again had a look. This one offline. And now, and only now, 3.5 minutes in, do we get a chance to catch our breath. Takemura, good work from Northam in the challenge. And again, from Australia's number 7 to Takayumi Takamura. And for a corner, Takamura, much like Bykov, is also a former Paralympian. Went to the 2020 Paralympics in Tokyo. It's a 400-meter sprinter, but didn't get past the heat. Sent it towards the middle. Blanchard getting something on it as the ball hits the corner flag and goes out for a throw. Takamura going over, play allowed to run. Bykov breaking away, got Gregorian alongside her. She goes to Karina Gregorian. Pass with a little bit too much on it to make it too efficient. Gregorian looking back for Blanchard, who couldn't do much with that. Making her way forward, Takamura. Good challenge, Northam. Blanchard down the line. Gregorian unable to get there. It's only the second goal, that one from Mei Ota, that Japan have scored against Australia. 4-0 result in the World Cup went the way of Australia. And then 9-0, 8-1 and 6-0 were the 3 other clashes before the start of this tournament. As Saki Hiroki of CP Kobe brought the ball back in. Northam with the effort that was online, but able to be claimed by Hamada. Bykov does well. Georgia Bykov across for Blanchard, who couldn't quite keep it in play. So it'll be a free kick for Japan. Given away by Talia Blanchard, who represents Capital Football. One of 2 Australians at the tournament who does so. Luke Launder in the Pararoo setup, also from that part of the country. Kimura, Blanchard looking to get their way through from range bike off. And comfortably off target in the end from a Japan point of view. Salmon wearing the armband for Australia. Blanchard in the direction of Gregorian, who couldn't quite get there. Northern looking to get it back to a goalkeeper. Takamura getting there first, and Northern making amends, seeing the ball out of play. Sent in towards the middle. Kaiga couldn't quite get to the ball. Bring it away is bike off, but the ball went the wrong side of the blue paint. Blanchard winning their header. Forward from Ota. With Salmon, whose pass wasn't the best. Allowed Meiko Kaiga a chance to shoot, but she couldn't quite get it on target. Northern again looking to try and find Karina Gregorian, who first found her way into the ParaMatildas setup in February in a training camp. There are very few international friendlies in cerebral palsy football, so training camps sort of the way that squads can meet up and connect with one another, like international friendlies would in a lot of other types of football. As Blanchard put the shot on goal, looking to try and curl one into that top right corner, but was unable to do so. Good feet from Blykoff. Good tackle there from Ota on Gregorian. But Japan have it back. It's towards Takamura. Northern close to it. Blanchard helping it away. Ota tried one from range, and that one was a bit audacious, if truth be told. Let's look at the Australian bench. Tamsin Colley central there with the headband on. Scored a hat-trick on debut for her country in the win over Nepal. Combined 8 goals, dropping out of the starting 5 from that game, with Nicole Christodoulou scoring 5 and dropping to the bench. Blanchard looking to lift one. As far as Ota, who sends it into touch for an Australia ball in. since the goal inside the opening 15 seconds from Georgia Bykov. Japan have matched Australia in a lot of aspects, and they'll be happy with how the opening 12 minutes or so have gone. Good run from Kuroki. Takamura taking it off her, firing it underneath, salmon it in. And this game has been flipped on its head. Japan taking an unlikely lead. And how good was that from Ayumi Takamura? Took it upon herself to go on, fire the shot on goal, and it found its way through Carly Salmon and in. And Australia very rarely find themselves behind in a game at this level. And they are behind here. Bykov fires one straight to Hamada, who's able to control the ball. Gregorian going in strongly. Gave away the free kick. There was the immediate hand up in apology from Karina Gregorian. It was initially spilled by Miyabi Hamada. She did well to claim the ball again. Australia's only ever 2 defeats in IFCPF play. Both came against the United States at last year's Women's World Cup. And it's the first time that they've ever fallen behind against somebody that isn't the United States. In any competition, be that World Cups, Asia Oceania Championships, or even the odd friendly that they've played. Bykov trying to get through a couple. Takamura took it away. Northam did well. Cross from Bykov to Gregorian. Taken away by Kuroki. Australia are able to have it back. Kuroki to bring it back in, helped forward by Ota. And Northern watch it go. Thanks for your company this afternoon, wherever you may be watching from around the place. Australia currently 2-1 down, which is a position that they've not often been in. Bykov looking to change that. Gregorian couldn't quite get to the ball as Ota slid in. Did score the country's first ever goal in cerebral palsy football, the women's side of things, Ota. It's part of a 6-1 win over Spain that opened up their World Cup campaign in Salou last year. Australia will have it back from the side. Good challenge from Takamura, who's trying to win it back off Northam. She almost did then off Bykov. And there's a little bit of unrest in the stands here in Bundoora. The Australians in attendance in a state of shock as the ball went forward from Blanchard. Looked for Gregorian, couldn't quite find it. Ota down the line, looking for Kaiga. Out of play for another Australia ball. Carly Salmon set to take the goal kick. She managed to score, did Carly Salmon, late in the game against Nepal. Forward, and with the gloves on, managed to score as the ball almost disappeared as far as Gregorian. Another great bit of courage from Miyabi Hamada, who would have known that the contact was coming. But she only had eyes for the ball. That was the only thing she was concentrating on, and she did well to claim it. Blanchard again in the direction of Gregorian, letting it go Kuroki. Now Blanchard. Gregorian looking to keep it in. She does this time. With Blanchard, who lifts one. That was off the shoulder, according to the referee. Bike off, under hitting one. And Ayumi Takamura knew exactly what was happening. She realised as soon as Bykov played the pass that it was under hit. She latched on and almost made it 3-1. Japan on top here. Haiger not with the best delivery, and that will be a goal kick for the ParaMatildas. Bykov forwards. Hamada there again. Northern dwindling on it. Salmon getting there, she was tripped. Yumi Takamura straight over. A couple of Australian fans wanting a yellow card. The challenge did come in late. And there will be treatment called for Carly Salmon. Caitlin Smith would be ParaMatildas' most likely replacement if Salmon was forced to be withdrawn. Kelly Sturton, the ParaMatildas coach, directing her disapproval at the referee for the lack of a card. It's a tough job refereeing. Certainly not one that many would like to do, I'm sure. Carly Salmon back up. Looks like Australia will be making a change, and it won't be Carly Salmon to come off. It will be Karina Gregorian to make way for Nicole Christodoulou.
Substitution for the CommBank ParaMatildas. Number 4, Karina Gregorian, replaced by number 2, Nicole Christodoulou,
who came into the Nepal game with 5 goals from 7 games, now has 10 from 8. And a 9th appearance will look to add to that tally. Northern, central for Blanchard. Christodoulou ahead of them. And the ball will go out of play for a goal kick for Japan. Kickoff. Slipping over, managing to keep it. Blanchard looking for Kickoff. It was a good ball, Georgia Kickoff. Couldn't beat Hamada at a near post. Kimura out of play. Blanchard looking for Christodoulou, keeps it in and has not won her side a corner. It looks as though it perhaps should have been. The officials in a better position. And so, as always, you go with them. Ota down the line and out of play. Into the final minutes of the first 25 and potential boil over on in Bundoora. Northern looking for Blanchard, who goes laterally in the direction of Kickoff, who will take it on. Back for Blanchard. Only just wide. Good build-up play by Australia. But they couldn't quite muster up the goal that would have brought the game level in the shadows of the break. Might be time for one more chance here. Blanchard again. This time on target, but saved by Miyabi Hamada. 2 minutes of added time at the end of the 25 to be played.
Additional time, 2 minutes.
Let's go, Aussies! Come on, Tillies!
Nice 1-2 between Christodoulou and Kickoff. Covering well was Saki Kuroki. And that one will be a ParaMatildas corner. Blanchard looking for Christodoulou. Japan's defense resolute. Takamura looking to take it away. That will be a Japan ball in. Kickoff and Blanchard. Kickoff doing well to shield it. Turned around and hit one, but couldn't end the first half in a similar vein to which he started it with a goal. Would have been a massive team lifter. And this would be quite the opposite. Georgia Kickoff's down here. Inside the centre circle, and while it is very early to call. Any withdrawal here would be really bad news for Australia. Of course, the first thought has to be with her well-being, and hopefully she is okay to continue. Still down, receiving treatment, Georgia Bykov. Now rising to her feet. Back underway. Kuroki with a heavy touch. Chance for Nicole Christodoulou. Blocked. Behind by her opposite number 2 in Mayota. And Australia will have a late corner if there's time to take it. Or late ball in, I should say, from the side as Christodoulou went over the bar, and that will be the final action of the first half. And I don't think, if you'd have asked anyone on the way into the home of the Matildas today, that they were expecting this. Japan have given as good as they've got and then some. And since the opening 15 seconds have been the better side, Georgia Bykov got Australia away to a dream start, scoring quicker than she did on Saturday, inside 15 seconds, but Mayota only a couple of minutes later drew the game back level with an absolute screamer before Japan's number 6, Ayumi Takamura, put Japan in front. As we have a look at some of the highlights, that was Mayota's absolute perler. And then this from Ayumi Takamura, who took it away from Kuroki, went inside the box and fired a shot away that squirmed underneath Carly Salmon. And at the break, we've got an upset on the cards in day 4 of the 2023 IFCPF Asia Oceania Championships. It's Australia 1, Japan 2 with 25 to play. We'll be back after a short break as part of SBS's coverage of the 2023 IFCPF Asia Oceania Championships. Stick with us for the second half to take place shortly. Welcome back then to Bundura, the home of the Matildas for the 2023 IFCPF Asia Oceania Championships Day 4. And Australia find themselves in a little bit of trouble here against Japan, who they beat on Saturday by 3-0. They are behind at the break. Goals for Mei Ota and Ayumi Takamura, cancelling out the early strike by Georgia Bykov to hand Japan the lead, and they held the lead for the majority of that half and were good value for it in that time too. When they gained the lead back, they got the ascendancy and held on to it. And questions for Kelly Sturton and her team perhaps here. They have the quality of players good enough to answer them all, but it's just if they can make it work out there. They've got 25 minutes to try and sort it out. As substitute Nicole Christodoulou will get us back underway.
Big second half, make some noise for your CommBank ParaMatildas.
So with Australia's number 2 set to get us back underway, they're not in the position they thought they'd be, the ParaMatildas. Still time in which to change it all. Let's see if they can first find their way back level, and then anyone's guess from there. Here's Takamura, one of the first half goal scorers. Blanchard watching it go. Bykov up and over halfway. Here's Georgia Bykov. Northern off target. And the Australian crowd trying to help their team. Sliding an Ota, able to get a foot to it on the stretch. Takamura keeping it in, leaving it behind for Northern. Out of play for a Japan ball in. Fair crowd here at the home of Matildas for the only game here on day 4. Just thrown into the middle. Salmon sweeping up and looking to set Blanchard free, couldn't quite. And Carly Salmon will roll it out wide for Bykov. On the Australia left, Georgia Bykov had a shot! Cannoning off the crossbar. So unlucky for Australia. Here's Blanchard looking to help it left, but it's been turned over. Georgia Bykov, as she so often does, almost finding the back of the net. Blanchard looking right for Christodoulou, stepping in Kuroki, and Northern a little bit too industrious with the contact. So we'll have a look again at the replay. Great run down the left from Georgia Bykov, and it only had to be slightly lower, and Australia would have been back on level terms. Playing in the middle is Takamura with Northern opposed to her. Blanchard across to Bykov. Blanchard will have it back here. Bykov forward to the ball. That's where the ball went. Georgia Bykov eventually got there. And the ball had gone. As Ayumi Takamura is down here inside the Australia penalty area. Carly Salmon was straight over. Australia will take the chance to drink a bit of water here and maybe receive some words from Kelly Sturton. Definitely receive some words from Kelly Sturton, as you can see. Plenty of players on the bench who can make a difference. Anne-Marie Duriarty is there for Australia, alongside Tamsin Colley, who has an international hat-trick, and Ray Anderson, alongside Caitlin Smith, who is capable of playing outfield, should that be what is required, despite the fact she's more known for her goalkeeping exploits. Takamura back up. And Japan's number 6 will be ordered off. It's thrown into the middle! Chested down and in by Nicole Christodoulou. And the collective Australian spirits lift. Wonderful bit of thinking from Eloise Northam to find Nicole Christodoulou, who couldn't miss.
Nicole Christodoulou.
2 apiece. And Australian eyes can look on this game now more optimistically. Japan, who were so resolute, just switched off, and against a side like Australia, you can't afford to do that. They've been so good up to that point too. As Blanchard makes a move down the right, they run it out of play. So Japan will have it back. Blanchard, the ball somehow stayed in there. That's not how a football usually behaves, as Ota sends it out of play. That was a bounce reminiscent of a Sherrin in Australian rules football. Round balls are usually more predictable than that, as Blanchard has the ball again. There's a whistle. And it will be an Australia free kick with Georgia Bykov standing over it. Christodoulou is square and calling for the ball. Be interesting to see what Georgia Bykov does here. She does roll it square, finds Northern, who will have a second chance at it. That's blocked behind for an Australia corner. And you could just sense that Australia had another gear to go to. And they're trying to find it here with the game on the line. Northern into the middle, arriving Bykov and scoring. Such a quick turnaround. And Georgia Bykov has another brace against Japan.
Scored by number 10, Georgia Bykov.
Miyabi Hamada was unlucky, but couldn't get enough on it to keep the ball out. And Georgia Bykov today scores again to find goals 20 and 21.
Come on, everyone, let's make some noise.
So in her 10th cap for her country, she scored goal 20 earlier on inside 15 seconds and goal 21 to put her team back in front. Australia not clear yet though. They haven't got the game wrapped up, but they are in a much better position. Here's Northern, winning it back from Kaiga, was looking for Christodoulou. Northern goes again. Bykov was nutmegged by Takamura. Blanchard coming across with a stellar tackle. Bykov looking to keep it, could only see the ball out of play. Northern looking forward for Nicole Christodoulou, who got there first, knocked it away from Mayota, who will go into the referee's book. Calls of it was a yellow from the grandstand. It certainly was. Clever from Nicole Christodoulou, knowing that she had the ability to get there first. She knocked it clear of Japan's number 2. And so Australia will have a free kick into the middle from Northern. Well, that was the intention anyway. It was an errant ball in from Eloise Northern, who hails from Sydney. Nicole Christodoulou, Bykoff and Blanchard had to be careful, lost out, and did well to then see it out of play. It's poked forward. Takamura over the ball, looking to work it forward. Good work by Northern. Long shot from Ota. And able to make the catch, Carly Salmon. For a second, it was an uncertain thing. Australian fans in the crowd were a little bit worried as to what was going to happen, but Carly Salmon was up to the task. Ota for Takamura. Good challenge from Northern to see it out of play for a Japan ball in from the side. Just under 15 to play. Australia with the lead back. Ota again outside of the boot. Into Carly Salmon's breadbasket. Dangerous ball there from Bykoff, but in the end, all's well that ends well. It looks as though Australia may well be readying a change here with a note pass to 4th official Keith Stroud. Northern. Salmon from Bykoff to Blanchard. And back with Australia's main source of goals, Christodoulou in field. That looked like a foul, and the officials tended to agree. Miyuko Kaiga giving that one away. And while the 4th officials board is being prepared, Australia don't have anyone who are ready to come on. So we'll keep an eye on that as Bykoff hits one on a hat-trick, but got it off target. As we've reached the midway points of the second half, and a drinks break will follow. Given the conditions here today, you can absolutely not dispute why that one's needed. 30 degrees now here in Bundoora. You can see a replay of Nicole Christodoulou's goal that initially brought Australia back level off the chest. And the celebration, the passion to match as well from Nicole Christodoulou. And that was before this from Georgia Bykoff to put Australia back in front. Miyabi Hamada getting something on it, but not enough to keep it out. Play to be restarted with a goal kick. Kuroki forwards. Northern able to keep the ball. Bike off. And Blanchard at the edge of the area takes it inside. Talia Blanchard. It's taken away from them. Good block by Christodoulou. It'll be a Japan ball again. Bike off from range. You wouldn't put it past us to score it from there, but she couldn't find the back of the net on that occasion. Outer forwards. Ball getting away from Mayuko Kaiga, the 21-year-old, unable to keep it in. Northern received it again from Blanchard into the middle towards Christodoulou. Helped away by Kuroki. And to bring it back in. As once more, Georgia Bikoff goes down. Georgia Bikoff classified as an FT2 player. Australia have got an FT1 player out there. They've got Talia Blanchard, and they've got an FT3 in Eloise Northam, so they can bring anyone off the bench here. Because they currently meet the classification requirements as Christodoulou moves forwards. Blanchard looking back across for Christodoulou. That'll be a free kick. It'll be Anne-Marie Dioriati. And it won't be Bikoff to come off, it'll be Eloise Northam.
Substitution
Replaced by Anne-Marie Dioriati.
Number 7.
One FT3 player off and one FT3 player on.
Number 8. Anne-Marie Duarte.
Anne-Marie Dioriati scoring against Japan on day one. It's played forwards. Dioriati has a couple of players up in support. Finds Blanchard, who would surely have sealed it with a goal. Outer forward towards Kaiga, who's in a fair bit of space. Takemura couldn't keep it in. Well won back by Kaiga. Towards Takemura, back there Bikoff, who helps it as far clear as she can. Ota with a high ball. No one in green and gold worried about that one. As it goes out of play for a goal kick. Forward from Bikoff. Towards Dioriati, who keeps it in on the Australia right. Blanchard. Back for Anne-Marie Dioriati. Straight to the goalkeeper. Ray Anderson is up off the bench for the ParaMatildas. Still not with a bib off though, so she may well not be coming on as the ball disappears out of play. For a Japan ball in towards Kuroki. Now Takamura back to goal against Baikov, who put the tackle in and did it well. Ball out of play. Last off the Japan player, and so the ball will be back with Australia again. Blanchard, Christodoulou, forward by Kuroki. High ball towards Anne-Marie Diarati. Looks for a bit of skill. Over towards Blanchard. Georgia Baikov down again. Sprawled out on the turf. You'd have to wonder how much more she's got to give. And she's giving everything she has. As she always does for a national team. As mentioned before, as an FT2 player, Australia can bring any FT1 player on and not fall foul of any classification restrictions alongside FT2, of course, and they've already brought their only FT3 player that was on the bench in Anne-Marie Diarati on anyway, so they can bring anybody still available to them on, and it would be fine. Caitlin Smith, Tamsin Colley and Ray Anderson are the remaining substitutes after Nicole Christodoulou and Anne-Marie Diarati came on earlier. Georgia Baikov will make her way off the field. It isn't beyond the realms of possibility that Georgia Baikov could see this game out anyway, and so in that case the substitutions wouldn't be required. Forward by Blanchard. Christodoulou. May well get onto the end of her own ball and does. Letting it go. It's Miyuko Kaiga. 3 to play in the 50. Australia will have a ball in from the side as they look to try and manage this game out. Diarati. Good skill. Look for Blanchard. Cut out by Kaiga, who look to go forward here for Japan. Baikov back there, and she helps it clear. Diarati couldn't quite keep it alive. This has been Australia's toughest test of the championship so far. And they are on course to get through it with a win. But there is still time if Japan are good enough for them to find an equaliser. Kaiga throwing in. Salmon will get there first. Wasted opportunity for Japan. Anne-Marie Diarati, Christodoulou forward of the ball. The goal would seal it. Couldn't quite find it there. Christodoulou back from Anne-Marie Diarati. The shot was straight to the goalkeeper. As the goal kick went long and just over the top of the bar. Carly Salmon was backpedaling. In the end, no damage done. Blanchard playing it forward. Christodoulou taken away by opposite number 2 in Mayota. Blocked by Blanchard. Throwing back in towards Takamura. At the edge of the box. Duriati helping it away. Ota back in and just wide. Japan coming closer. Ray Anderson will come on. Talia Blanchard off.
Substitution for the CommBank ParaMatildas. Number 3, Talia Blanchard, replaced by number 9, Ray Anderson.
To try to send it in. That struck a hand. And so to be a Japan free kick, looks like being a positive return back to the starting 5 for Talia Blanchard. And it will be, should Australia see this one out. 3 minutes of added time to follow. Ota sending it long, but out of play. And so Australia are almost there, but still not quite there. It's played short from Salmon. Longer from Bykov. As far as Hamada. Who then elects to send it long towards Takamura. Salmon able to be equal to it. Rolls it out only as far as Kaiga. Not great distribution as Bykov helps clear. Duriati got something on it for Christodoulou. Duriati with it back. Robbed Ota of the ball. Still she goes, Duriati! There's the ball game! Australia set to survive a massive scare. It was great work from the young Australian substitutes who, when it mattered most, fought hard and provided the goods with a goal. And Australia, who were trailing at the break, now have a 2-goal lead as that shot saved by Salmon straight after the restart. And the music lingering on longer, perhaps to allow the Australians to carry on the celebrations. Duriati as Australia want more. Takamura, forward of halfway. Couldn't breeze by Bykov. Takamura still down. Bykov eventually getting round her. Duriati, Christodoulou's there in the middle. Good challenge by Kaiga to make sure it didn't get through. 2 of the 3 minutes played, and it loomed to be a 3 minutes heading in to added time that could be danger signs for Australia, and they would have to try and see the ball away, but they've found a goal that has really eased any worries around the home of the Matildas as Duriati almost found a way through again. And it will be a happy public holiday for Australia and for the ParaMatildas. They've had to come from behind to win here. Duriati, forward for Takamura. Is there one last bit of joy for Japan? Would only be a consolation. Not if Georgia Bykov has anything to say about it, as she sends it out of play for a Japan ball in. 3 minutes have elapsed. Throwing in towards the middle, only as far as Bykov, who will send it away towards Duriati, who will let it run. It's rolled in short. Behind for a goal kick, and that'll be that. Australia were tested. The final scoreline may not read that way, but Japan were brilliant before Australia found their way back level. As Down Under rings around the home of the Matildas. They were 2-1 down at the break. Georgia Bykov got Australia off to a flyer with a goal inside 15 seconds. Goals then to Ota and Takamura sent Japan into the half-time break with a lead, but it was a wonderful second half from an Australia point of view. Georgia Bykov, Nicole Christodoulou and Anne-Marie Duriarty with the second half goals. Australia's number 8 with the sealer into second half stoppage time. And Australia win this one on day 4 of the IFCPF Asia Oceania Championships from the home of the Matildas. Full-time score, the ParaMatildas 4, Japan 2. As the Australian fans celebrate and indulge in this win. Plenty of fans making the trip down to Bundoora. And those that have seen a win that about half an hour ago didn't look on course to eventuate. As we've got a photo through the centre circles and all players bow and applaud. As the fans in the grandstand get another wave of applause from the Australian players who have done the job today, having to come from behind to do so. We're back to triple headers again tomorrow, and there's a couple of big games in there featuring Australian sides. India will start the day taking on Iran from 2 p.m. in the men's competition. Then the ParaMatildas will play again facing Nepal. And the third and final game looms to be a massive one for the CommBank Pararoos, as they will square off in a huge game against Japan in what could well decide how the tournament will end and who progresses through to the final on Sunday. There are a couple of other factors as well, but that game will kick off from 6:45. And so just to repeat the games for you, will be India and Japan from midday. In fact, let's just go again. India and Iran, I should say, from 2 o'clock. Australia and Nepal from 4:30, and Australia and Japan from 7:15. All the details can be found online, but it looms to be a big 8th of November as Australia get into a huddle. And here's some final words from their coach. We will bid you farewell from the home of the Matildas as part of the 2023 Asia Oceania Championships from the home of the Matildas in Bundoora as part of SBS's coverage of the tournament. It looks like, in fact, before we do that, in fact, there maybe will be an interview that will take place out in the middle, so we won't leave you just yet. Receiving word that there will be a post-match interview with one of the ParaMatildas. So we wait to see who will be called over. Nicole Christodoulou is heading down over to the left. But there will be an interview in front of the main camera. And really, it should be no surprise as the subject of the interview is Australia's number 10, Georgia Bykov, and we'll head down to the pitch at the home of the Matildas to hear the words of Australia's number 10.
We are here currently with Georgia Bykov. Now, Georgia, another stellar performance by the CommBank ParaMatildas. How are you feeling, first of all?
Oh, I'm wrecked. But I'm so proud of the girls. It was a tough match out there, really hot, and we were carrying a few injuries, so really pleased for a win, yeah.
And look, we knew Japan weren't going to make it easy either. We played them earlier on day 1. They made it tough then, and they were going to come back for revenge today, but we held them off in the end.
Yeah, that's right. We know Japan's always going to put in a good fight, so we're glad that we held them off, and now we look to Friday.
And how about yourself? You're making yourself pretty familiar with those goals there. How impressed are you with your game standard so far?
Oh, look, I'm just happy I can get ball to the foot, I think, and I'm just really pleased that the girls are around me to encourage me and pass those balls off so I can have a shot. So, yeah, it's a team effort.
Last question for you. Very good support today. The crowd warmed up with you. Of course, they've come out to cheer you. I think your family as well is ready to welcome you back into the rooms. Talk about the support that you received from everyone here at the stadium today.
Oh, I mean, it's not just the stadium, it's everyone back home and it's on SBS. Hello, Thomas Hassel, Anglican College, all the kids back at school. We're just really proud that we can do it on home soil, and I suppose living with CP, we've had a support crew since the very beginning, so we're very proud that we can represent all the hard work and the support that they've given us.
Well done. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll let you go back in so you can celebrate with the team. Congratulations. Everyone, once again, Georgia Bike Off. Lots more coming your way soon. Of course, many games. We just saw another great one today, but of course, can't wait to see you back here tomorrow for another day.
And just to echo the words of Georgia Bike Off, anybody who is watching along as part of SBS's coverage, thank you for your company. There may well be plenty around the country who've been inspired by what they've seen so far, and there's plenty more action to come. And if you are someone living with cerebral palsy, the opportunity is there for you to represent the CommBank Pararoos or the CommBank ParaMatildas. And it is absolutely wonderful that cerebral palsy football is being put up for those to be able to see, and how wonderful the standard of football is and will continue to be into the future. We will now bid you farewell. It's been an absolute pleasure to bring the CommBank ParaMatildas 4-2 win to Japan to you. Stick around on SBS On Demand for Day 5 to repeat those fixtures one final time. India and Iran from 2 p.m. in the men's competition, then the CommBank ParaMatildas in action again against Nepal from 4:30, and Australia in the men's side of things to take on Japan in a massive game from 6:45. So we'll be back on air just before 2 p.m. tomorrow. See you then, and bye for now.